A Simplex converted to a Great Western Railway Prairie tank, Part 12. The new Smokebox, machining the front ring. The original Smokebox from this engine was totally scrap. We had to cut it off the original old boiler. In this clip I'm showing the original Smokebox that came with the new boiler on the right hand side, and on the left hand side is the new Smokebox from Blackgates Engineering. Expertly rolled and silver soldered by Phil. And here to go with the Smokebox are the two rings, the front and rear. As you can see, both of these rings are very different. The front Smokebox ring supports the Smokebox door. You can see in this clip that the rear Smokebox ring is a completely different shape. This will need machining to fit both inside the Smokebox itself and into the front part of the outer shell of the boiler. Before I rush into things though, I need to find out where the chimney goes. The thing is, this is a Simplex converted to a Great Western Railway Prairie tank. I asked Phil to make this Smokebox 5/8 of an inch longer than a standard Simplex Smokebox. By using a couple of rulers like this, I can get an accurate measurement as to how far the blast pipe is from the edge of the boiler. It's 2 inches. I will need to cut some holes in the new Smokebox. Obviously, 2 of the holes will be for the inlet to the steam chest and the blast pipe. Not forgetting the hole in the top for the chimney, and this is approximately where it's going to sit, and as I've just shown, 2 inches from the edge of the boiler will make this chimney fit exactly over the blast pipe. It's most important that the blast that comes from the cylinders up the chimney goes up the centre of the chimney. Phil, who in partnership with his wife Jackie own Blackgates Engineering, is very good at this sort of thing. He's an excellent precision engineer. The Smokebox that is made is exactly the right diameter. It saves a lot of effort reprofiling the base of the chimney. It's worth remembering that the chimney will not be in the middle like this. It needs to be offset. And even though this Simplex is never really going to look like a Prairie tank, at least the Smokebox will be somewhere near. This is the original Smokebox that came with the new boiler, and you can see it's a good bit shorter. I don't need the Smokebox on the left hand side anymore. I need the door and the hinges and the bits and pieces. So I'll just put it in my box of old Smokeboxes. A quick radical change of direction. This has been bothering me for a while. The beading on the top of the water tank had come loose and was sticking up, and I kept looking at it on the bench and thinking, well, how am I going to fix this? In the end I used a very small yet powerful blowtorch, and I covered the joint between the half-round beading and the tank using some Friolux solder paint. This is a mixture of ground-up solder and flux that you just paint on. The job was successful and the beading is now resoldered to the edge of the tank. Now it's time to get ready to machine the first of the Smokebox rings. I'm going to do the front one because the back one is a little bit more complicated. The job begins by changing the chuck jaws. I've removed the normal jaws and I'm going to replace them with the outer jaws. And that way I can grip the outer diameter of the Smokebox rings. The jaws of a self-centering chuck have to be fitted in a set order. The jaws are marked 1, 2 and 3. That's the order that you usually fit them in, but according to the marking on this chuck it actually says 3, which is a bit odd to be honest, but it still works fitting the jaws in a 1, 2, 3 sequence. When machining castings like this, it's a good idea to clean them up or fettle them. They've been part fettled, but if you look at this closely, there's a great big lump and it's impossible to centralise the part in the chuck. This piece here. I cleaned up both of the castings using my belt sander. Let the machining begin. As you can see, this front ring is quite a good fit in the chuck. It's running very accurately. I was surprised. The first thing to do is to use this excellent boring bar that was sent to me by a man called Dan. But oh dear, it's making a horrible screeching noise. I think I'll start again. This time I've engaged back gear, which slows down the lathe spindle, and this speed is fine. Initially it still makes a slight chattering noise as I get through the chatter that I created by running the thing too fast. But on the second pass it's really smooth. I have to admit at this stage I did not follow the drawing at all. And really, as this is a tutorial, I should have done so. You must not take too much off the internal diameter of the Smokebox ring at the front. If you do that, then your Smokebox door, which I already have, may fall through the hole, which is not a good thing. So you will notice I'm not removing much metal. I'm removing enough just to clean up the inner diameter of the smokebox ring. When machining gunmetal or any other soft metal in the lathe, don't be too heavy-handed with the cuts. I'll show more about this in the next episode when I cover the machining of the rear smokebox ring. In this clip I'm taking the initial cut across the front. This is called facing, and it's normally the thing I would do first, but in the case of this casting, which has a massive hole in the middle, it's not necessary to do it first. I would only carry out the facing operation first if I was going to immediately drill a hole in the end of the work. I need to get a good finish on the front, because the smokebox door needs to seal against this front when it's clamped in place with the dart in the middle. Here's a close-up of me taking a finer cut, which gives a lot better finish than the rough cut that you see being machined away. Why is it important that the smokebox door is a good fit on the smokebox ring? Well, it's not quantum physics exactly, but the smokebox door has to be a really good fit on the smokebox ring so that the smokebox is airtight. When the locomotive is running, the exhaust steam blasts up the chimney, and this creates a vacuum in the smokebox. The vacuum is very short-lived because obviously the fire tubes go all the way into the firebox, but the blast of the exhaust up the chimney and the subsequent partial vacuum in the smokebox draws the fire. If you don't believe me and you have a model locomotive, try running it around the track with the smokebox door open. The final fine cut was taken in reverse, and as you can see, it's giving a really nice shiny smooth finish. Whenever I machine castings, I'm always on the lookout for blowholes, which are very common in castings, and normally if I see a blowhole I stop the machining operation and scrap the casting, or should I say return the casting from whence it came, and get another one free. And on this casting, to the right hand side, you can see there are one or two blowholes. These can be filled successfully using silver solder. Never use soft solder on a smokebox because it will melt. The special 2-pack JB Weld stuff could be okay. I've used this in this kind of application before. I think though, because this is a tutorial, I will fill it with silver solder, but not yet. I'll get through the machining operations and see what the other ring's like. And that's it for this episode. I'd like to say, as always, stay safe, stay well. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.